Right, so LG Display is apparently dropping $2.81 billion into OLED production for the iPhone and, more importantly, the iPad. And yes, I know some of you guys might be thinking, why is Apple switching to OLED on the iPad after just giving the iPad mini LED? Well, I think they might be referring to the next iPad Air. That might be getting OLED. And so let's delve into the report. But first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so the source of the report is IT Home. I've never heard of them, so I don't know the credibility of this source. So definitely take the information with a grain of salt. But anyways, they say LG Display is investing $2.81 billion into OLED production by 2024, and apparently this could be increasing their units per month by 30,000 to 60,000 units, which does not seem like a lot, especially when they're investing $2 billion. But I guess that's because OLED is very hard to build. Now, of course, investing into OLED iPhone production makes sense because if you think about it, by 2024, there's gonna be a complete OLED iPhone range. I'm assuming the iPhone SE and, of course, the older iPhones Apple still sells alongside the flagships are all gonna be OLED, and so it makes sense LG is investing a ton of money into OLED production. But now let's come over to OLED on the iPad. Now, the report does not specify which iPads are getting OLED, but in my opinion, it can't be the iPad Pros. I know there are some reports saying it might happen, but I disagree, and it's for the following reasons. So number one, OLED is inferior to mini LED. Now yes, I know everyone loves OLED for the deep blacks and the amazing colors, but there are some cons to it, namely the fact it does not get very bright and there is a risk of burn-in. But of course, mini LED offers the benefits of OLED like the deep blacks, the amazing colors, but it also offers much better contrast ratios, much higher brightness, and no burn-in. And so why would Apple switch over from the superior mini LED panels to the inferior OLED panels for the iPad Pro? It just makes no sense. So yes, I don't think that's gonna be happening. Also, do remember that up until this year, Apple's been using LCD since the conception of the iPad. And so for Apple to shift from mini LED to OLED in the space of a year or two seems pretty unrealistic. I mean, Apple's pouring tons and tons of cash into mini LED production, and all of that money would be a waste if they're going to be using mini LED for a year or two. So again, as I said, I don't see the iPad Pro getting OLED anytime soon. And that brings me on to the iPad Air, because OLED is inferior to mini LED, and obviously Apple doesn't want the mid-range iPad to have a display as good as the iPad Pro, and so of course OLED is perfect for the iPad Air. Now yes, I know I mentioned burn-in, that can be an issue, but I'm also pretty sure Apple has procedures in iOS to prevent burn-in on the iPhone, and so I can see Apple giving that to the iPad Air as well, and so yes, I don't see the iPad Air having any serious burn-in issues. And yes, I know what you're thinking, isn't OLED very expensive to make? Well, of course, this iPad Air being the mid-range tablet, it's getting a cheaper rigid form of OLED that's going to be as cheap to make as LCD, so there should not be any price hike. But of course, because it's OLED, it's going to be way better than the LCD panel we have today. We're going to have deep blacks, better colors, better contrast ratios, but of course it won't be as good as the premium iPad Pro. And yes, I know these supply chain reports have been all over the place, but Ross Young, who is 100% accurate, does believe the iPad Air is getting OLED in 2023. And of course, this report states that LG is going to be finished increasing OLED production by 2024. So of course, the dates line up, and I'm pretty sure the iPad Air is going to get OLED. And of course, since LG is boosting production, I can also see Apple giving us OLED on the budget iPad and the iPad mini, since they should be getting new designs by 2024. So yes, I'm hoping this explains the confusion regarding OLED on the iPad. Now yes, I know there's also been reports about OLED coming to the Macs. I'm not really sure about that, because if you think about it, the Mac has more static elements in macOS, and so it does make sense for the Mac range to get mini LED instead. Anyways, tell me your thoughts on this report. Do you think we're seeing OLED on a future iPad or not? Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the icon above on details regarding the iPad 9. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.